Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now this isn't going to be one of my normal watch reviews. In fact, it's not going to be a watch review at all. It's really going to be more of a show and tell. Now about 2 weeks ago, I was looking online for some vintage Seiko divers, and I ran across this site. The site's name is DC Vintage Watches, and I gotta tell you, I absolutely fell in love. So I contacted the owner, and the owner's name is Nick, and he was kind enough to send me a vintage, when I say vintage, I mean vintage, 1971 Seiko 5 6119-6400. And I gotta tell you, I am absolutely floored with this thing. Now, first of all, let me give you a little more information about DC Vintage Watches. He mainly deals in a lot of Seikos, but he has Omegas, tags, some Zodiacs, some Bulivas, but it's mostly, from what I'm looking at here, mostly Seiko watches. And the cool thing is that these are in absolutely excellent condition, gently loved, very well taken care of. Now, a lot of them have, some dings, some scratches. They don't have the original straps or bracelets, but for the most part, they are very well taken care of. So I'm really, really happy that he sent me this watch. And let me also tell you this before I kind of show you the watch. When he sends you a watch, he also sends you a couple other things. One, you get this Pelican case. Now this, guys, for those that don't know, this is a real Pelican case. They come in multiple different sizes. This is actually, I think, their smallest one, possibly. They might have a couple models smaller than this, but this is one of the smallest Pelican cases you can buy. Watertight, fantastic for traveling, but I digress. Anyway, but when you get a watch from him, he will send you the watch in a Pelican case, and then you also get, what else do you get? You get a strap. And this happens to be on an Ostrich Strap, and I'll show you that in a second. You get a second leather NATO strap. Of course, you get the Pelican travel case, and you get a spring bar tool. So you're basically looking at, minus the extra strap and the spring bar tool, or what you're going to get if you order any watch from DC Vintage Watches. And let me go ahead and put their logo up here for you. That's the logo, so you know what to kind of look for when you're online. And guys, let's go ahead and get into this thing, man. I'm really, really impressed. This watch is 47 years old. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but that's okay. I'm exactly 47 years old as well. So this watch is actually only maybe 2 months older than, I'm sorry, 2 months younger than me. So here you go. Oh, I also forgot to tell you, here's his business card. And here's a little, looks like a little promotional pamphlet right there. There you go, shows some of the other watches he carries. So he can also get you really, I mean, if you're looking for other brands like some vintage Citizens, vintage Casios, G-Shocks, if it's anything between like the 1940s and mid 80s, that's kind of his wheelhouse. That's where he kind of looks. But I'm sure if you're, you really want to find something, you're willing to pay for it, he can find you just about anything you want. That's the really cool part about all this. He's not just sticking to Seikos and some of the other brands he has on his website. He will find other stuff for you. So anyway, so here you go. Now I also took a whole bunch of close-up macro shots of this watch just to really, really kind of show you the condition that the watch is in. So there you go. There's that classic 70s brown, on a brown Ostrich Strap. And this thing, for being 47, I wish I was in this good a shape. It's got a few scratches on the sapphire, not sapphire, on the acrylic crystal, and obviously a few scratches on the case. But what do you expect? the watch is almost 50 years old. Now, I went ahead and took off the Ostrich Strap when I took these pictures, because this thing, it's kind of a pain to get on and off. So I went ahead and took it off to take a picture of the case back. And in fact, let me go ahead and show you these pictures real quick before we get started. All right, the first one is going to be your case back. Now, if you notice, you're going to see the Suwa logo, that Suwa Seikosha. And let me go ahead and put that logo on the screen as well. Back then, Seiko had two different factories. You had Suwa, and then you had Daiani. And probably the more famous watches came from the Suwa logo, from the Suwa factory, because they were basically, back then, they were competing against each other, like dueling factories, to see who could make the best watches. And this one is from, again, the Seiko factory. Try to say that real fast. Anyway, so there's the case back. Let me show you the thumbnail pic, and let me show you it up close. There's me holding the watch. God, this thing is really nice. I didn't think I'd like brown that much. For some reason, the Ostrich Strap really works with this watch. Here's a close-up. You can see that Suwa logo underneath 21 jewels right there. And a really, really good picture of the dial. And I'll tell you about the Loom here in a second, too. Don't expect much, obviously, and the watch is 47 years old. What else? Here's a close-up of the Ostrich Strap itself. I've never felt an Ostrich Strap, and it's 5 times softer than leather. Really, really soft strap. Super soft. Extremely comfortable on the wrist. So there's the strap. Here's a close-up of the crown. You can see that it's recessed and actually flush with the case. So there's a picture of the crown. You can also get an idea of that saucer case. And then the next pic is going to be a close-up of that saucer case. You can see why they called this the saucer, because it looks like a little spaceship. You can also see the dome of the acrylic crystal right there. So there you go. So anyway, so those are some close-ups of the watch. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more. Let's talk about some of the specs here. And again, this being, 47 years old, I'm basically reading off of Nick's website. So, forgive me if I get anything wrong. If any of you out there are absolute Seiko, professionals, every single Seiko watch ever made. But it looks like it's a 43 millimeter case. It's got let me see here. I think it's an 18 millimeter strap. Let me take a look here. I think it's an 18 millimeter strap. Yeah, 18 millimeter strap. Original case back. Original acrylic crystal. It has the original crown. Good grief. Man, this thing, wow. This watch is almost all original. You're looking at original crystal, original crown. Wow, that's really impressive. I didn't know that. Really, really cool. And now, so far as the Loom goes, I would show you a Loom shot, but the watch, again, it being this old, the Loom is absolutely dead. But the Loom, it kind of looks like it's made out of foam now. I guess all of the light emitting properties of the Loom are absolutely gone. So it looks like you laid down some like those foam packing peanuts, not the ones like the little S, but the little look like little rabbit turds. It's really like the foam is super, super porous. That means the Loom is super, super porous, the indexes, and there's absolutely no Loom left. But the actual condition, as you can see here, the condition of the dial, it's not, and another thing I forgot to tell you, it's non-hacking, it's non-winding. All right, guys, let me show you this watch's parlor trick. Actually, there's two of them. Take a look at the inner chapter ring. Look at that. 47 years old, and that thing is just as smooth as it can be. Look at that. Now, another thing, take a look at the date. Today is Friday the 13th. But wait a minute, I've got Friday the 8th. Now, the normal, how you set the day is normal. You just spin around and you keep turning the hour and minute hand around, and then it'll eventually get to the day of the week that you need. But if you want to do the date, look at this. And I had to research this. You push the crown in and it instantly changes the date for you. Watch. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How freaking cool is that? Now, obviously today, we just wind one way for the day of the week and the other way for the date. But I just think that it has such a satisfying little click to it. I just think that is incredibly cool. Anyway, so guys, I really just wanted to show you this watch to kind of tell you how far we've come. And the cool thing about these were actually made in Japan. All of them were made in Japan back in the day. And you can feel the quality of this watch 47 years later. I'm really impressed with this. And, do yourself a favor. At least go out and check out DC Vintage Watches. They have got so many cool watches and really something for everybody. If you like vintage, tags or Seikos or Hamiltons. He's got a lot of Hamiltons too. Just a ton of different really well-preserved, well-taken care of vintage timepieces. And I mean, I couldn't be happy with this thing. And I want to thank Nick very much for sending, this out to me for me to take a look at it. I've got to send it back, unfortunately. But man, what a beautiful, beautiful watch. I'm not super crazy about the brown. I wish it was maybe a different color, but obviously they have different color dials on the website. Not a big fan of this doo-doo brown here. But it's not really the color of the dial that's impressing me. It's the quality, the craftsmanship of a watch that's 47 years old and still ticking away like crazy. Absolutely no problems with this thing. Only problem again is the loom is dead, but I mean, what do you expect after that long? So anyway, guys, that's really been about it for this little show and tell here. Again, I'll make sure to put a link to DC Vintage Watches in the description field for you so you can go over there and check them out. Obviously, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you also click that notification bell to make sure you get all of the latest notifications. And guys, that's really, actually, hold on a second. I forgot to try this thing on. I'll show you what it's like. So, guys, you can hardly even tell that I have a watch on. That's how soft and supple this Ostrich Strap. Wow. God, that brown's starting to grow on me a little bit, man. Look at that thing. Wow. Really, really nice. Again, Nick, thanks a lot. I really do appreciate it. And guys, until the next review, I will see y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye.